What does that number mean to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I know that we have one win in the SEC this year, so that's the main thing. I mean, it's say it every time something like this comes about. Is just I just appreciate having the opportunity to be here, and I appreciate coaching all these great players and hang out with a bunch of good coaches. So, uh, it's a good number. Hopefully we can keep building on a little bit.
I'm curious, what did you see out of Gackle today? What did he show you out there today?
I saw a really good pitcher, and I mean, he got off to a rough start. He strikes off the leadoff man on a slider that it looked like it hit the back of the plate. It's already wet around home plate and it got by the catcher. And then it just didn't go good. He had two strikes on the 2-0 hitter who's hitting about 350 and he hits that ball up the end of the bat, but he splits the gap and it wasn't going real good. But he found a way. I mean, he got his pitch count was way up in the first and he got the double play ball from Furness about you know, really jammed him bad, couldn't get out of the box. I didn't think it was going to be a double play. And I thought Behava was just going to arm fake and look to see if he could catch the runner coming around third too far. As a matter of fact, I started looking left and then I realized he was throwing the other way and he got him. And it was amazing to get out of that with only two runs. And then I thought, you know, Gackle was amazing after that. As a matter of fact, threw right around 80 pitches in 4 innings, and he would have come back out for the fifth. He was fine, but he sat in there for I don't know however long our inning took, and we just didn't feel good about that. And we thought, let's get him out. Long season, you know. But I thought he was really good tonight, and I think he ended up with what 8 strikeouts in 4 innings, and showed a lot of toughness. And I think that might be something that, looking back, we're going to say that really flipped it.
And one more before I turn it back with Gackle. I know that the broadcast showed Colin Fisher getting loose in the first inning. How close were you to turn into Fisher there?
Well, you start to get concerned and kind of tiptoeing around your question for a second when your pitcher gets to 30 pitches in an inning, and he was getting there at the time, and you didn't know if he's going to have to throw 37, 38, 40 to get out of the inning. And if he would have had to have done that, we probably wouldn't have sent him back out in the second. If he was just continued to have issues in the first, then we were going to go to Colin for, long relief. And then once it got back under control a little bit, we just felt like Coyle was our best option. He'd been, really good for us so far, and it worked out.
Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, just one more on another on Gackle. I mean, the broadcast kind of showed him talking to himself in that first inning, and then, you could kind of see his emotion come out the rest of the way. Is that something that's been there earlier this season? Is that something that maybe he brought out of him tonight? I mean, what does that emotion make him as a pitcher?
Well, he's a competitor, and he was planning on having a really good outing for us tonight. He knew we were in need of it after the way it went down last night and or yesterday, and he did a good outing. And he was frustrated, but he flipped the switch and just did a tremendous job. Yeah, that's been in there. He's got that in him. You think about some of the time when he was, last year he was closing games. We were bringing him in some really, really tough situations, and you have to be tough to be able to handle that. Really tough mentally.
The back to back to back in the fifth, just how special was that? And could you feel like maybe the bats were kind of about to explode there before that inning?
Yeah, I felt a lot of the hitters were really frustrated because they felt like that we were seeing the ball well. We just never really put together that inning yesterday, and then today we felt like we should have scored more runs a couple of times. I think there was one inning there where we had runners at first and second, nobody out, and we didn't score, and that was with 3, 4, and 5 coming up after them. And then when the fifth got here, um, and Davlin hit the home run to give us the lead, and then the next pitch was just jolted to center field, and then the next pitch was an absolute rocket that got out of here. I didn't think it had enough height, it was just a lot of excitement in the dugout because all of a sudden, 2 minutes earlier we were down a run. Now all of a sudden we're up 3 or 4 runs. And then I really liked the way we continued the inning. A lot of times you had 3 homers in a row and you just scored 4 runs. The inning kind of slows down, and we end up scoring 4 more. And I think we scored 7 runs before they got us out. So it was very emotional in the dugout. Guys were excited. We feel like we're explosive, and we can do that type of stuff. And it was really good to have it happen when it did because we're on the road. We're in the SEC play, and we just coming off a loss, and so it was huge.
Was this the best you've seen from Jimenez tonight?
Yeah, and he's been good. He's been a strike thrower. He's only 1 year, like 12 months, maybe 13 months out from Tommy John surgery. And he's throwing the ball in the low 90s with sink and command. And the command's the thing. And he's throwing a cutter. His fastball is kind of a heavy ball. And yeah, it was fun to watch him pitch. And it was just, you know, I mean, you'd have to think that really helped his confidence. And I know us as coaches, it helps our confidence to be able to put him out there in tough situations. Tonight wasn't, super stressful, but he still had to get these guys out. And they showed that they can score quick, and he did a great job.
Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess second straight day that kind of, the broadcast was complimenting you guys on, fouling off pitches and getting the starters pitch count up. Is that something that you had to, tell the team to keep going at it, even though yesterday didn't go y'all's way?
Well, it's part of what you want to do as an offense is to get that starter's pitch count up. And we always make the comments to our hitters that there's a reason he's starting, and he's starting on the weekend because he's really good. And, if you can get him out of the game, maybe the next guy is not quite as good. You never know. But yeah, I mean, that's part of it. You foul pitches off. I mean, they're not trying to foul them off. They're trying to square them up and get hits. But when you get to 2 strikes, you can foul pitches off until you get one you can handle. And a lot of times you'll get a mistake, you wear a guy down. And plus, if you don't, at least you're getting his pitch count up, and, things happen.
And then first time him in a 3 innings for you guys. Is that something as his arm kind of continues to, keep going, that his role may change, or, he could come in for long relief?
Yeah. Well, yeah, tonight's his longest outing. I think he threw 35 pitches. I think he threw maybe 32 one other game, or 30 in a couple innings. But sending him back out, in the ninth, we discussed it after after the end of the eighth, if we were going to send it back out. We had a plan, if it didn't go good. But, Coach Hobbs and I just felt like, he hadn't thrown a lot of pitches in 2 innings, and he was throwing strikes. And then we scored another 3 runs, I think. And it relaxed us a little more to build that lead up. But, he kept his focus in the dugout. And that's a lot of times when you have a pretty good lead, then you add to it. You might lose a little focus. And I kind of watched him throughout the inning, and he stayed really into it, focused, and you could just tell he was excited to go back out again.
Matt, go ahead.
Kind of a scary day there weather-wise. What was it like sitting around the hotel waiting to see if the game was going to get played?
Yeah, we had some sirens going off not too long after we had breakfast. And, we just had a little bit of a plan with the guys that if it got really dangerous to get to a certain area here, there is kind of a lower level. I'm not going to call it quite a basement, but a lower level where, some of the guys gathered, and there's a couple other teams here. There's a couple softball teams here. And, a few of us kind of stood outside and watched the clouds swirl around, and just to see what we could see. But, we kept up with the weather pretty good. And some of the kids that are not from the Midwest, so to speak, are a little nervous, maybe kids from the West Coast. But no, it was all good. We watched it miss us.
You and Mike Bianco talked yesterday about how small the ballpark played. I would think it played a little bit bigger tonight. the fact that you hit so many home runs, I mean, is that an indication of just how well your team hit?
Yeah, we had a really good night at the plate, squared up a lot of balls, and I don't know. Yeah, it was really jumpy yesterday. You can miss hit balls if you got them up in the air and they'd blow out. Tonight, you had to hit it a little bit better. The ball was traveling a little bit. It was light breeze, maybe 5 miles an hour at the most, kind of going out to center, maybe right center. But all the balls that were hit were going to leave the yard with no wind. Yeah, so it played bigger. Tomorrow, the park will probably play even bigger because the wind's supposed to be out of like the northwest at about 10, 12 miles an hour. So I think that that might be from like left field pole to right field pole. But it is what it is. Both teams have to play in it. You just put together your bats and score when you get the opportunity. And tomorrow's a big game.
Hey, last one for me. How's Gabe Frazier?
He's fine. Yeah, he took that ricochet right in the face yesterday. I've been doing this a long time and I've never seen that. And he ricocheted in batting practice. And uh, Doc Reeves, who can deal with some cuts because he used to, work with professional fighters, and he got on that because it was swelling up in the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds. I mean, by the time I was right there, it was like coming out, and it hit him right under the eye. And Doc Reeves got him in there in the training room and went to work on him. And I think he'd have been ready for the second round. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, let's close this one out.
I just got a couple more. Davlin had 4 hits tonight. I think he had the no doubt home run, and he beat the shift a couple of times. Is this kind of the guy you expected you were getting whenever you got him out of the portal?
Well, yeah, we think he's a really good player. That's why we wanted him here, obviously. And he had a super fall for us. Got off to a little bit of a slow start here, but it happens. He's been swinging the bat well for a couple of weeks now, and we've scored a lot of runs when you look back at the last couple of weeks. And it doesn't matter who you play; you still got to get on base. And he's been getting on base a lot, whether he's taking a walk or get hit by a pitch or getting hits. And tonight, the lead off the game, he saw a bunch of sliders, and then pitcher tried to sneak a fastball by him, and it was actually a top of the zone fastball, and he clubbed it to right. He got on top of it, and slapped a couple balls to left, and he had a really good night for us.
And then how good was it to see Souza hit that home run there in the ninth inning?
It was really good. He laid off the first pitch slider. It was a little bit low, might have been a changeup, but he laid off, and that was really good to see. And he didn't get all that ball. He doesn't have to, as strong as he is, and he just muscled it out of the park. But he took a swing at it. He a little confidence there. So hopefully that'll keep him rolling a little bit. And but the whole team was excited for him. You could tell when he hit it, they went crazy. And when he got in the dugout, they let him know how happy they were for him.
Good. Coach, thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks.